Hi, students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I am broadcasting to you live from beautiful Budapest, the capital city of Hungary. Konnichiwa to you too, the Umi, Japan. Using a little bit of katakana, I see. Please use English in the chat. Hello, little frog. Hi, satisfying times. Hi, Kezia and Dao Li. Good to see you as well. Konbanwa. Sorry, I see you just said konbanwa. I didn't read it accurately. Well, konbanwa to you as well. I guess it is evening in Japan. But again, in the chat, ladies and gents, please do use English for this IELTS Task 2 writing. Materials coming from aehelp.com. For the academic version of the test and gieltshelp.com for the general version of the test. The websites, they look like this. This is for the academic. Click that red button to join there at aehelp.com. And for the general version, to prepare you with 6 full practice exams, over 100 hours of video lessons, a fully interactive course for your phone, tablet, PC. Click that big red button to join us there. Hi Parminder, hi Hung, hi Ferdovs. Good to see our members in this class also. All right, students, if you have questions about the exam or about our products, don't be shy. Send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. These live stream classes run from Wednesday to Saturday according to Central European Time. 13:30 to 14:30 is the members chat class, and 15 to 16 o'clock is for everyone to chat. Again, today we're finishing task 2 for the writing that we started yesterday. And tomorrow we'll have a members Q&A class, and then we will have a part 3 speaking for everybody. Okay, let's look at the task 2 question. Let's review the notes from last class. Even if you missed the class from yesterday, that's okay. We will catch up. I will go through the question, the introductory paragraph, and then we will do the body paragraph together. Nidhi, I'm not sure when you sent the email. If you sent it yesterday, give us a little bit of time. I'm sure we will send you an email back. Our turnaround time is 24 hours or less usually. Okay, so don't worry, Nidhi. We will respond. If you don't see an email from us in your inbox, check your trash or your spam folder, because maybe your filtered it out. All right. So here is the IELTS Task 2 writing. Again, this is 40 minutes for this task. It is the last part of your sit-down exam. Okay, many people believe that financial management classes should be a part of every high school study, since this is a major part of adult life, and many young adults are ill-prepared with this knowledge. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? Include examples and explanations from your own experience. You should write at least 250 words. So hopefully many of you were in yesterday's class. And we identified the topic yesterday as being financial management courses. Okay, that's what we're talking about, financial management courses. And the controlling idea was whether or not these finance management classes should be a part of our high school education. Then we did some critical thinking. Now it's important to review this from yesterday, because we will use this information today for our body paragraphs and our conclusion. Okay, so when you're practicing for task 2 at home, doing the steps of critical thinking, so what, why, how, for the topic controlling idea. It's very important because it is the information for your whole essay. So here we go. What is a financial management course or finance management course? It's learning about money. It's controlling budget, cash flow, business, loans and interests, understanding micro and macroeconomics. It gives you that general idea. Okay? Why should we learn about finance management? Well, so people can use their money well and thereby improve their quality of life to better face financial challenges and allocations, meaning uses of money. Okay? So again, for those of you joining in, today we're working on the body paragraphs and the conclusion for this essay. We're just reviewing yesterday's notes. Then we asked the how question. So how does a financial management class help us with this? Well, in a finance management class, we can learn to create balance sheets, know what expenses we can cut back on or reduce, like unnecessary junk food, managing taxes, looking for quality investments, knowing how to calculate interest rates on your purchases, on your credit cards, on your mortgage. Then we talked about the controlling idea. Now, before I continue, just want to make sure that you're on the same page as me. Is it clear what we're doing so far? Is it clear that we are reviewing yesterday's notes to help us understand the question and kind of refresh information for the body paragraphs and the conclusion? All right. Okay. Thank you for those responses, members, and Murasa Dinesh, satisfying times. Thank you. All right. So, controlling idea. What is what does it mean to have these classes mandatory in high school? Well, it means having 3 classes each week for at least 1 hour for grade 11, grade 12 students that deal with financial management. Why have these classes? This is a very important question. So why have these classes for grade 12, grade 11 students? Well, because they are very close to becoming financially independent and becoming earners in society, meaning getting jobs, making money, spending money. And they're easy targets for financial traps like their first car purchase, getting credit cards at high interest rates, getting student loans, and having to pay them after graduation. Well, how would these classes help them? Well, they would teach them about their budgets, their interest rates, taxes, how to make investments. So then the question was, to what extent do we agree that high schools should include financial management classes in education, make it mandatory? And we said we completely agree with this statement. So we came up with the thesis. I completely agree that financial management courses should be mandatory for secondary students, as this prepares them for financial pitfalls and independence. Okay? All right. Dinesh says, yeah, I remember. We completely agreed with this idea. So then our last kind of step in yesterday's class was completing the introductory paragraph. And just a refresher, that has the hook, the background, the thesis. This is a Band 9 introduction to this question. Okay. Effective financial management can lead to a prosperous life. These courses educate individuals on budgeting, investing, and taxes. This information is vital in making appropriate choices for success in adulthood. I completely agree that finance management courses should be mandatory for secondary students, as this prepares them for financial pitfalls and independence. All right, so now we're going to write our body paragraph 1. What is our body paragraph 1 going to be about? So what will our body paragraph 1 be about? Kezia, just paraphrasing the question and putting it up is not enough to get a high band score on the IELTS exam. In fact, most students who just do that will get 5s, 5.5s. If they do a perfect job, maybe a 6.5. It's very difficult. You can do a lot better. Okay. So Roshni says, well, it'll be about financial pitfalls. Sevgi agrees. Marasa agrees. Amrit paraphrased it as dangerous situations or financially dangerous situations. Yep. Very good. Okay, great. So it will be about finance pitfalls. So now if I want to be more specific, I'll say financial pitfalls for high school graduates. That would be the very specific idea. Farhan says for being vulnerable. Absolutely. Okay. And what elements should my body paragraph include? So what parts should my body paragraph include? So I know I'm going to talk about financial pitfalls. What elements should I include? Okay, Raja says, first idea, explanation, explanation, short summary. Kind of, Rajat Kumar, close. So Marasa says there should be a topic sentence, an explanation, an example. Yep. Bagzad says topic sentence, explain, example, connecting sentence. That's right, Bagzad. That's what we need in there. So we need topic sentence, explanation, example, and connecting sentence. Yep, so that's what I need to include into my first body paragraph to make it a band 9 level. What kind of example should I include there? What kind of... Arun says Bagzad deserves an Oscar for correct answers. He definitely deserves a high band score on his IELTS exam because he's been studying very, very hard. Bagzad says a personal example. Roshni says a personal example. Why do we know that the example should be a personal example? Yeah, Marasa says from your own experience means that should be a personal example. Yeah, the question tells you the type of example that you need to include, right? So here is the original question. It says include examples and explanations from your own experience. That's a very direct request to include examples from your own experience. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So the topic sentence, as many of you know, is a definition with more detail, with more depth to the point 1. Okay. So please write your topic sentences, students. For body paragraph 1, give me your topic sentence. So let's start body paragraph 1 with the topic sentence. Okay. So give me your topic sentence. Experience, Gurkrat, means experience. So it means from your own life experiences. Doesn't necessarily mean knowledge. Okay. Ferdov says the main advantage of financial management courses in high school education programs is it allows students to be prepared for financial traps. Okay, That's good for Dovs. I like where you're going with it. I like how you didn't lose the topic. You included that in your topic sentence, the topic of the essay. Very good. All right. Parminder Honda says, learning finance management prepares scholars to face financial challenges in their later life, as through this course they acquire knowledge about how to control money and reduce unnecessary expenses. Okay, Parminder, very nice. You're actually joining in your explanation with your topic sentence. You've done a good job, so that's great. Just be very careful when you're writing such a complex sentence not to make mistakes in the real exam, okay? You can just write the explanation as a second sentence, all right? Savgi says, once pupils have become independent financially after grade 12, they start to seek loans to cover their educational expenses. Okay, Sevgi, I see where you're going with it. It could work. You have to be really careful. You're kind of going for an explanation before the topic sentence. It could work. You just have to be really careful not to lose the reader or sidetrack with that, okay? So careful if you start with more of an explanation than a topic sentence. All right? Marasa says money management classes can easily save people from dangers in the forthcoming time. Very nice, Marasa. That's a really nice topic sentence. I'll take it. So, money management classes can easily save. Now, don't forget your subjects, Marasa. We're talking about high school students. Can easily safeguard. Can, instead of easily, I'm going to say help. So I'll change it a little bit, Marasa, to make it a little bit clearer. So money management classes can help safeguard high school students from forthcoming dangers in the real world of money, economics. I don't want to repeat money. After graduation. So that's my topic sentence. Money management classes can help safeguard high school students from the forthcoming dangers in the real world of economics after graduation. Sure. Okay, that works well. Thank you for setting the foundation for that, Marasa. All right. Amrit says, having an incomplete knowledge of financial management can lead an individual to face threats like budgeting and spending money unwisely. Amrit, I think be really careful with that word, because instead of wisely, you mean unwisely, and that's a coherence mistake. Those are the mistakes that cost you band scores. So be very, very careful with that, Amrit. Okay? All right. Farhan says, without having formal education of money, leads to exposing youngsters to financial vulnerabilities as they are naive to the world of finance and can easily make wrong decisions. All right, Farhan, I did a little bit of correcting there in real time. I get the idea, but careful not to make mistakes by overcomplicating. Okay? Reba, no worries. You're in class now. That's great. All right? Mohammed Wahab, good to see you in class, says students at the elementary level are ignorant and vulnerable to financial traps of various financial companies. Money management courses can play a vital role by aiding them in their high school curriculum. Okay, Mohammed, that's good. All right, that works. All right, let's explain this. So again, keep it simple. Students, it's nice that you're really, putting your English to the test, and I really encourage you to do that in these live classes. Of course, I can give you feedback and correct. In the official IELTS exam, don't try to overstretch your English ability. Use what you know, use it effectively. Remember, your goal is to get a high band score. Then you can keep developing it and working on it after you get that IELTS score, okay? All right. Notice how mine is not so complicated, but it works. Money management classes can help safeguard high school students from the forthcoming dangers in the real world of economics after graduation. Okay? So explain that to me. What does that mean? What are those dangers? Right? Think logically. Your reader here is thinking about the question, well, what dangers are you talking about? What kind of financial pitfalls do high school graduates face after grade 12? Okay? What are we telling each other here? Rahul, Kamudia, that's a good answer. Money management courses provide the foundation for high school students for their future spending habits. Yeah, you're going in the right direction there. I think, Rahul, that might be better for your second body paragraph. Keep that in mind, Rahul. For your second body paragraph, I think it'll work better. Okay. So I'm going to go into the explanation here as well. All right. Now, we have this in our notes, so we don't need to overthink it, right? Baghdad says, these days, students of the secondary education can invest their money with confidence as they already know how to overcome tax pays or opening new businesses. All right, I think you're getting lost a little bit there in complexity, Baghdad, so I'd simplify that. It's a little bit confusing. Satisfying Time says, after long years in high school, students are adventurous, about to buy expensive cars, and can easily be fond of themselves, spending more than expected. Satisfying Times, I think you're on the right track. So after graduation, many 18-year-olds waste money on expensive cars or go into or get loans with unreasonable interest rates because they do not understand the consequences of their poor money management or poor decisions. I want to avoid repetition. However, mandatory finance management classes would help them to avoid this. All right. So again, I'm choosing a little bit of a simpler sentence structure and vocabulary just to show you that you can really get a nice high band score without trying to be overly complex or tricky with your words and with your grammar. Okay. So, Hung says, when students are only taught the subjects of academics, it would make the students confused with money when they graduate and go into society. Okay, Hung, I think you're generalizing there a little bit too much. Finance and economics arguably is a very academic subject. So it's information confusion to say subjects of academics. Hung, I know what you mean. I know that you're saying math, biology, chemistry, physics. But economics and finance is a very academic course. It's not like an art or physical education class. So it's information confusion. You need to be more specific, Hung. Okay, careful. All right, Pachu says secondary school students are basis for the university level, so they are investing lots of money in unnecessary items to show off to their friends. Yeah, Pachu, okay, I see where you're going with that. That could work. It's a decent explanation. I'd take that. I think that's a band 6 to 7 level information. Okay. Dinesh says the students without financial management are quite vulnerable to financial pitfalls such as money laundering and education loans. Dinesh, I think money laundering is a little bit extreme. Obviously, that's a very serious crime. I don't think most high school students get into money laundering, so I think that's a little bit extreme. But unreasonable loans or interest rates, sure. Okay. Rahul says it is difficult to come over the financial imbalance if spending habits are not paid attention to in their routine life after graduation. Okay, Rahul, that works as a topic sentence. That's not the explanation. All right. The explanation, again, it's coming from your planning, right? So notice here that money management classes can help safeguard high school students from the forthcoming dangers in the real world of economics after graduation. This part here is coming from the why have these mandatory classes. So if I go back to my planning, okay, then here it's again the same as the thesis. So why have these classes for grade 11, 12 students? It's because they are easy targets for financial traps like first car purchase, credit cards, student loans after graduation. So my topic sentence and my explanation is really coming from my ideas around the why have this for grade 12 students and my visualizations. Does that make sense? Okay. So again, now that I have my explanation, I can give my example. Okay. So here, I'm going to give a personal example because it asks me to give a personal example. This is a first-person essay, and the essay was asking, give examples from your own experience. So give me an example from your own experience. Okay, let's do it together. Give me an example from your own experience to back up your explanation. Okay, your experience or your example should always be very directly related to the explanation. Okay, thank you, Dinesh, for the feedback. I was looking for that. Okay, so Marasa says, for example, my brother Saeem took a loan after his high school degree and started a business with one of his friends. It seems his financial classes helped make him independent. Marasa, very good, okay? I would include Marasa the idea that his financial classes in grade 12, okay, helped make him independent. So we know it was a high school finance class. That works well, okay? Yeah, Dinesh, absolutely. You can make up an example or you can use one from your real life. I think many people would have some example of making a poor financial decision after high school, okay? Dinesh, you said if you've never experienced such events, potentially, but I think if you really consider this, most people can arguably say that they have had some experience with either making a good or bad financial decision after high school based on what they learned or didn't learn about finance in high school, right? So Rahul says, for example, many friends of mine after high school bought expensive cars paying heavy interest rates without having a steady income source. Rahul, that's great. Okay, that works. If you can make your example even more visual, Rahul, like they bought expensive Audis or Mercedes, even naming the type of car so we can visualize that car better, it'll be an even better example. Okay. Pachu says a good example here in Nepal, most students after high school buy lots of luxury items on the black market with money they cannot pay back. Sure, Pachu, and again, be more specific with those luxury items. So jewelry, cars, wallets, motorbikes, just name a couple, okay? Use your vocabulary, show your vocabulary to the examiner, all right? Sevgi says, for example, my niece, who is at age 18, has bought a new flat, spending a high amount of money on the house due to her lack of knowledge about financial management. Yeah, Sevgi, that works. Okay, that works perfectly. That's exactly what we're looking for. Hung says, for instance, when I had my first job and got my primary income, I did not know how to use it until I realized I needed the money for higher education a year later. Yeah, so I can tell that a lot of you have had some examples. I'll give you one from my life, which is in fact quite true, and true for many people who graduated high school at the end of the last century, at the beginning of year 2000. This was a very common example for my generation. So, for instance, I got a Visa credit card with a 20% interest rate after high school, and soon found myself in debt because of not understanding the dangers of high interest credit cards. Okay. And I can probably take out credit card from here in the real exam. If it's paper-based, I would just cross this out and I would capitalize this Visa. Okay. So there's my example. For instance, I got a Visa with a 20% interest rate after high school and soon found myself in debt because of not understanding the dangers of high interest credit cards. All right. So there's my example. Now I need one more sentence. What do I need? What do I need? So one more sentence here to make this paragraph AAA awesome, band 9. Yeah, a connecting concluding sentence, absolutely. So I need a connecting concluding sentence. And that connecting and concluding sentence should reflect my thesis argument. Okay? Remember that task 2 is a persuasive essay. You're arguing, you're convincing, you're persuading your reader of your ideas. So here, you need to, again, think about your thesis, what your argument is, and reflect it. Now, you can make a connection here with your example. So to really have nice, high-quality writing, communication, you can reflect that with your example. So go ahead and write some connecting, concluding sentences for me. Okay, Bagzad, I love it. That's a staple. So Bagzad says this is one of two reasons why I do believe that studying financial management can be vital for the future. Yeah, Bagzad, that's a very good standard way to do it. Okay? So explain that this is one of two reasons. Tamim Anwar, it's probably because your internet connection isn't the best right now. It should clear up. Okay? Yeah, so Mohammed says, therefore, this is the reason why financial courses are essential for post-secondary students. Or this is one reason, right? Mohammed Wahab, very good. Okay. Now, I can connect this with my example as well. So I can do this. Watch this. If I had financial management courses in grade 12, it would have helped avoid this difficult debt, and therefore I do believe that such courses should be taught to secondary students. Okay, so that's my connecting concluding sentence. So this is kind of a useful skill for those of you who are writing well and quickly, connecting your different elements in your body paragraph. So here I'm using my example idea to create my connecting and concluding sentence. If I had financial management courses in grade 12, it would have helped avoid the difficult debt, or this difficult debt, and therefore I do believe that such courses should be taught to secondary students. Does that make sense, how I just did that? So notice how it all flows together. My topic sentence flows into my explanation, which flows into my example, which flows into my connecting concluding sentence. That's your goal, to have very high level cohesion, okay, and coherence. Those are the two main elements to get those big band scores. Cohesion, coherence. And you create that primarily with information, not with words. A lot of students think, I have to use words like firstly, secondly, therefore. Those help, but primarily, most of all, it's the information that creates that cohesion. Okay? All right. So Firdavs says, without financial management courses, people will not be able to effectively control their money, and this is why these courses have to be included in high school programs. All right, Firdavs, that's good. Again, work on using your example to make that concluding, connecting sentence even more powerful. Okay? All right, so now we go into body paragraph 2. So what is body paragraph 2 about? Tikuki, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Okay. If I had, because it precedes my lack of knowledge. So I used the past form here because it precedes my situation of not having it. If I have had would be another way to do it, Tico. High school is secondary school, Alvina. So I graduated from Qualicum Beach Secondary School, or another way to say that is high school. University is post-secondary school, and master's and PhD is postgraduate school, Alvina. Those are good questions, yeah. So high school and secondary school, they're synonyms, okay? Hung says financial independence. Maras says independency. Yes, absolutely. So helping students to be financially independent. Sure. It's slightly related to our point one, but it can be described differently. So our introduction, right, says it prepares them for financial pitfalls and independence. Right. So topic sentence. Give me the topic sentence for that. Okay. Give me a nice, clear definition with detail about what do we mean financial courses for financial independence after high school. Okay. Give me a nice sentence about that. Okay, Seni Surani says, besides preventing students from financial traps, comma, lessons such as accounting and budgeting can assist them to finding their path to financial freedom. Seni, very good. That's fantastic. Okay, I like it. It's a high band start. It's got a couple of slight mistakes. I would use the word aside instead of besides. It's very technical. Besides is okay as well. So aside from means other than. Besides means this and beside it. So I'm going to use other than instead of beside here. So aside from helping prevent prevent students from falling into financial traps. These money management classes, such as budgeting and taxes, let's say, I'm going to change that up a little bit, can assist them in finding a prosperous path to financial freedom. Okay. Always work to avoid repetition of words, right? So I noticed that I used the word financial twice. So immediately I just replaced it with economic traps. Okay. All right. Let me read a few more. Ferdov says, at the same time, financial management helps helps adults independently create balance sheets, manage taxes, and make quality investments. Ferdov's brilliant. I could have used that just the same. Definitely. Pachu says, another point to consider is that understanding financial management aids in independent living and high quality living standards. Pachu, very close. Okay, very close. Alvina says, not only do finance management classes help students be aware of economic pitfalls, but also teaches them to become more independent in their adulthood. Okay, Alvina, it's not bad. I think there's a little bit of redundancy, repetition there, but it's all right. Okay. Satisfying Time says, after high school, a life without knowledge on how to manage money, teenagers can find themselves in financial traps. Satisfying Times, I think you're repeating the topic for body paragraph 1. All right, here is my body paragraph 2 topic. Aside from helping prevent students from falling into economic traps, these money management classes, such as budgeting and taxes. Instead of classes, I would say topics. It makes more sense. Such as budgeting and taxes can assist them in finding a prosperous path to financial freedom. Okay, what does that mean? Let's explain that. Soon after graduation, many students move away from home and need to afford their living expenses, such as shelter, food, clothes, and transportation. Eventually, without the contributions of their parents. This can best be achieved when individuals are confident in effectively budgeting and spending their hard-earned money. Okay, so that is my explanation. Okay, go ahead, students, write some explanations, and let's see what you write. I'm going to keep going here. I'd like to get to the conclusion today as well. So, but don't let me stop you. If you've got some good ideas for explanations and examples, go ahead with it. So my example here is, for instance, my friend Chris, who learned about budgeting in grade 12, was able to move out at the age of 19, get a job, and become fully independent. Okay, so that is my example from my experiences, which the question is asking me for. All right. Murasa says most of the time pupils start jobs after high school and they do well as long as they have a knowledge of budgets. Such decisions help them to become independent. Okay. Parminder says after high school, many children leave their home and move to faraway cities to pursue higher education. If they do not know how to spend their money, this can become a problem for them, and they will rely on the assistance of society and their parents. Parminder, good. Stay in present tense. Don't use contractions. So do not. Write it out. Okay? Ma'anko Mitra says, for instance, if a graduate is well-versed about financial management, they can face difficult situations in the future and pay their own way by the age of 20. Okay, Ma'anko, stick to that explanation. All right. So in this case, I have lots of words. Remember, my essay is about 250 to 300 words for those high bands. I don't necessarily need a connecting or concluding sentence for my second body paragraph because I have my conclusion coming. And the conclusion will wrap up or summarize the whole essay. So you don't really need a connecting or concluding sentence for your last body paragraph in an essay. Because again, your conclusion is coming right away, and that's good enough. All right, you don't need to be too redundant. So what elements should my conclusion have? The conclusion also needs a few very important elements. What should it have? Okay, I know I'm moving a little bit faster, but it's because we're running low on time or short on time, and I'd like to get to the conclusion today for you. So, what elements should my conclusion include? Three elements. There are three elements to include in a good conclusion. A good conclusion is not just a repetition of your introduction. Okay, so Hung says it should include a summary of your points, emphasize your opinion, yeah, and a take-home message. Very good, Hung. So, A, it should include a paraphrase of your main points. B, an emphasis of your argument. And C, a take-home message. Okay, so let's do that together. I'm going to move along here so you can see how it's done. But again, I encourage you to try it on your own as I'm moving along. Okay, main points. So, in conclusion, they like to see in conclusion on the IELTS, not so much in university. But on the IELTS, you can use in conclusion. So, in conclusion, the ability to thrive independently in society after graduation, as well as avoid money pitfalls, are two reasons to make financial management courses mandatory for grade 11 and 12 students. Therefore, I strongly believe such classes should be a part of secondary school curricula. Curricula is plural for curriculum. And that is my argument emphasized. Okay, and then my take-home message. After all, it is in the interest of society to empower and not disable young adults who are the future builders of society. Okay, that's my take-home message. All right, students, so that's my full essay. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go back to the beginning and read the whole essay together. I know that we really wrote that piece by piece, but as long as we're clear on the structure and the content, and we have good planning, okay, good critical thinking, identifying topic, controlling idea, it should make sense. Now, at this point at home, you should read it again once or twice. You should make corrections, take out redundancy, look for grammar mistakes, and of course, if you need help, you can send it to our professional editors. Both our websites, aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com, has editing services for your essays to give you feedback. All right, let's read this essay. So, effective financial management can lead to a prosperous life. These courses educate individuals on budgeting, investing, and taxes. This information is vital in making appropriate choices for success in adulthood. Therefore, I completely agree that finance management courses should be mandatory for secondary students, as this prepares them for financial pitfalls and independence. Money management classes can help safeguard high school students from forthcoming dangers in the real world of economics after graduation. Many 18-year-olds waste money on expensive cars or get loans with unreasonable interest rates because they do not understand the consequences of their poor decisions. However, mandatory finance management classes would help them to avoid this. For instance, I got a visa with a 20% interest rate after high school and soon found myself in debt because of not understanding the dangers of high-interest credit cards. If I had financial management courses in grade 12, it would have helped avoid this difficult debt, and therefore I do believe that such courses should be taught to secondary students. Aside from helping prevent students from falling into economic traps, these money management topics, such as budgeting and taxes, can assist them in finding a prosperous path to financial freedom. Soon after graduation, many students move away from home and need to afford their living expenses, such as shelter, food, clothes, and transportation, eventually without the contributions of their parents. This can be best achieved when individuals are confident in effectively budgeting and spending their hard-earned money. For instance, my friend Chris, who learned about budgeting in grade 12, was able to move out at the age of 19, get a job, and become fully independent. In conclusion, the ability to thrive independently in society after graduation, as well as avoid money pitfalls, are two reasons to make financial management courses mandatory for grade 11 and 12 students. Therefore, I strongly believe that such classes should be a part of secondary school curricula. After all, it is in the interest of society to empower and not disable young adults who are the future builders of society. Okay? All right, students, so that's the full essay. That would be certainly a Band 9 response to the question of to what degree do you agree that these classes should be mandatory for grade 11 and 12 students. I hope that makes sense. We did the essay over 2 days. First the planning and the introduction, then the body paragraphs and the conclusion. And notice that even though a lot of interruptions, a lot of back and forth communication in the chat, we're able to piece by piece put together this 4-paragraph essay because we know what we need to do to plan the essay, and we know how to write a powerful thesis, and then we know how to create that cohesion in the information. Okay, that's it for today, students. Pretty intense class, I realize that, but I'm very proud that you stuck with me and contributed, gave your own ideas. I think there were a lot of very good suggestions being generated. Remember, students, check out aehelp.com. That's our academic IELTS website with loads of help for you to pass the exam. Click that red button to join us there. And for general, same idea, green background, gieltshelp.com. Click that red button to join us there. You're very welcome, everybody. Keep up the studies. Practice does really make perfect. So just keep practicing, keep pushing forward. Much love to all of you. I wish you a great rest of your day. Tomorrow, we'll continue with some more classes. Bye for now.